What's new on ocean acidification in Maine and beyond? That's the title of this session. Thanks for joining us. And if you haven't heard it already, welcome to the Maine Fishermen's Forum. I'm Paul Anderson. I direct the Sea Grant program at the University of Maine, but I'm also on the board of directors for the forum and help to organize this today. It's a great event. I hope you've enjoyed your time here. If you just got here today, I hope it's a good one. For the next hour and a half, we're going to hear some answers to that question right there about ocean acidification. This issue, as you all know, has been emerging for a long time here on the planet, and in recent years it's been featured on the forum agenda in different formats, so this is another opportunity for us to bring you up to date on a lot of what is going on, both with science and technology here on Maine's coast, but also we have some visitors from other places who can give us some other perspectives too. It's a tough issue. When I was in college and studying the ocean and all, we just figured that the ocean was good. We didn't have to worry about the pH of the ocean. It had all kinds of salt in it. Who cares? It's all going to be fine. Well, we didn't know then what we do know now, and that's probably true today, as it will be 20, 30 years from now. But nonetheless, the ocean is vulnerable to acidification and other kinds of chemical imbalances, and we're going to find out today why the ocean acidification in particular, and the chemistry that comes along with that, can and probably is affecting our ecosystems. So we have several speakers that will be with us today. Joe Salisbury is from the University of New Hampshire. He'll be our first speaker. Dan Small is from St. Francis Xavier University up in Nova Scotia, Canada. Bill Luke is a shellfish grower for right here in mid-coast Maine with Luke Sea Farm. And Cassie Steinmeist is with the NECAN program and helps to administer the Northeast Coastal Acidification Network, the NECANs, which really is kind of the core organizer of a lot of this conversation, both for today as well as in the region over the last couple of years. I will say that Esperanza Stanshoff, who's on our staff with the Marine Extension team at the University of Maine and Cooperative Extension, couldn't be here today. She's doing some really cool service learning in Central America, helping their communities deal with some issues. But she sends her best and helped to organize this day along with the folks here and Cassie's help. And Esperanza wanted to make sure that you all knew about one of her projects, which has also been featured in a recent short video that's now available to look at. There's a postcard at the back of the room. It's called Maine's Lobster Fishing Community and how they're confronting climate change. And so she's been doing a number of years of work with parts of Maine's lobster community, getting them to document and share what they're observing out on the water for change, which does certainly relate to our topic today. So these postcards are at the back of the room. How many of you saw the Ochang video, short video clip, animated video clip that was put out when, Catherine, 2 years ago? A year ago on the lobster fishery itself. Anybody recall that? Kind of a provocative way to inform and educate and provoke other thinking, which is what good education does, right? But we're pleased to interrupt the program today to preview a similar piece. If I don't screw this up. Where did it go? A similar piece on ocean acidification. And the folks in Ochang are right here at the front of the room. A couple of talented individuals.
The shores of Atlantic Canada and the coast of Maine, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts down to the tip of Cape Cod make up the boundaries of the Gulf of Maine. The Gulf is known the world over for its flourishing populations of shellfish, mammals, and seabirds. For hundreds of years, the Gulf's bounty has fed the region's inhabitants, provided thousands of jobs, and sustained the unique cultural character of its coastal communities. But as humans continue to burn fossil fuels to power our global industrial economy, the Gulf's marine ecosystem has become threatened by warming ocean temperatures and the changing chemistry of the air and oceans. While most of the carbon dioxide burned from fossil fuels stays in the atmosphere, about 25% of it goes into the ocean, which is why we call it carbon sink. The big problem is that when CO2 goes into the ocean, it reacts with seawater to form corrosive carbonic acid. This carbonic acid breaks down, it releases hydrogen ions, which combine with the carbonate in the water, leading to the formation of the vital molecule calcium carbonate. Creatures like clams, lobsters, mussels, shrimp, scallops, oysters, sea urchins, and corals use calcium carbonate as the building blocks to form their shells. With fewer calcium carbonate molecules, they have to spend more energy for shell production, which hinders their ability to grow. If the water gets too acidic, it could even dissolve their shells. Scientists also believe that the Gulf of Maine is especially vulnerable to acidification because of the complex flow of fresh water from the region's many large rivers, as well as cold fresh water from the Gulf of St. Lawrence and snow and ice melt brought down from the Arctic by the Labrador Current. Because carbon dioxide is more soluble in cold water, and fresh water has lower concentrations of carbonate and calcium ions, the region's unique geography further exacerbates the acidifying effect. Scientists also worry about nutrient loading, which is when the waste nitrogen and phosphorus from sewage, livestock, fertilizers, and various industries run into the ocean, stimulating massive phytoplankton blooms. Excessive phytoplankton produces even higher levels of CO2 as they decompose, which makes the waters more acidic, especially around coastal mudflats and salt marshes where mussels, clams, baby oysters, and other sea larvae thrive. Rain and snowfall also increase the level of runoff that brings nutrients into the Gulf, and the warming climate is expected to bring even more precipitation to the region. With rapidly melting polar ice caps and more rain and snow, the Gulf of Maine shellfish could be facing a perfect storm of acidifying waters, as ocean acidity has already increased by a whopping 30% during the last 70 years alone. Normally, the ocean waters would be able to take in all of that CO2 without too much trouble. But because the chemical changes are happening much, much faster than any naturally occurring changes in the past 200,000 years, many scientists believe the ocean life may not be able to adapt to it fast enough. And although ocean acidification may be more harmful to some marine animals than to others, the Gulf of Maine is an intricate food web. The death of one species may cause permanent changes in the entire Gulf's marine ecology. But this time, we can do something about it. In addition to taking action on reducing CO2 emissions, we also need to learn more about the causes and impact of ocean acidification on our most treasured Gulf of Maine resources, in our way of life. Humans may have contributed to the acid in the oceans, but we can also take steps to stop it. To find out more, visit www.nearcoast.org/NECAN.
Thanks. So that's a creative and provocative way to convey some of this message. For the rest of our time together, we'll get an even more sophisticated picture of some of that information that came flying at you. And we'll start with Dr. Joe Salisbury. Joe, again, from the University of New Hampshire. Pleased to have him up here. We let the New Hampshire people into the state once in a while. This is one of those occasions.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks. You have a clicker? No, that's all right. That's all right. So I've been a resident of the state for 56 years.
Oh, I'm sorry.
How long have you been here? So yeah, I work at UNH, but my heart's in Maine, and all I ask me to start with Maine. So. I really want to say much after that video. I mean, they really covered everything that I was going to say here. But I've got 15 minutes, so I'll keep talking here. So I was asked to do a review of ocean acidification and selected research in the Gulf of Maine. I only have 15 minutes, so I'm just going to focus in on just one little line of research that may be relevant to the fishing industry here. So, as the video said, we do burn fossil fuels. I think, for the first time in the last couple of years, this is kind of coming to a flat part on the trajectory, but we still put in about 9 gigatons of carbon dioxide through fossil fuel use and through land use practices. And about half of that, as the video said, ends up in the atmosphere, and about a quarter of it or so ends up in the ocean. And let's talk about that for a second. So you've always seen this time series of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So this is stuff that goes in the atmosphere, and you can see this inflection that starts around the industrial period. It's gone up, and it's gone up really rapidly. So I asked the first question, is that causing global warming?
Yes.
Probably. Probably, but there's not 100% agreement, right? I mean, even scientists, there's 1 or 2% that can tell you with great vigor that there's other reasons other than fossil fuel burning that our climate is changing. So is this causing our oceans to acidify? Definitely. So there's no argument about this. This is really simple high school chemistry. So when you get that increasing atmospheric carbon dioxide, and the pressure of that in the atmosphere is greater than it is in the ocean, you're going to have solid dissolution of carbon dioxide into the surface ocean. This is going to make carbonic acid, like that molecule that was in the, they got buried and then it started to split off. And this is going to reduce ocean pH. So the ocean is becoming more and more acidic as that carbon dioxide goes up like that. But one of the things that's important to note for shellfish is that this increased acidity, will destroy alkalinity, and it will start to buffer these so-called carbonate ions. And shell animals need these carbonate ions from seawater. In the video, there was this little carbonate, they were building a lobster shell out of carbonate ion, and I thought that was really precious. And so this carbonate ion availability is so important to us that study ocean acidification that we have a name for it. It's omega. It's that Greek symbol down there. So that's an index of carbonate ion availability. And we think for a lot of shellfish larvae in the Gulf of Maine, perhaps scallops, certainly clams, and maybe oysters as well. There's this threshold of 1.6, and if it goes below that, larvae have a hard time building their shell. They might be okay later in life, but it's that really critical early period. Okay, so I just want to show you here that in the global ocean, there aren't many long-time time series that study ocean chemistry. There's one off the Canary Islands, Estoc. There's one near Bermuda, Bats, and then there's one in Hawaii, Aloha. And you can see they're all doing the same thing. So this is the carbon dioxide, not in the atmosphere, but in the water. You can see it's going up. You can see the pH, the measure of acidity, is going down. And you can see this really valuable carbonate ion going down as well. And the rate, as was mentioned earlier, is quite dramatic. And it's going down about 0.3 units per century. And so based on 10 years of data at our buoy in Appledore Island, the Gulf of Maine is only going down about half as much right now. We don't really know why. We have a couple of ideas, but we don't know why that's not keeping track with the open ocean sites. And we see this at other coastal sites as well, coral reefs around the world and whatnot. This pH is not going down as fast as in the open ocean. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe we just don't understand enough about it. So anyway, the Gulf of Maine may be particularly sensitive to acidification. This is a little film loop from PFO, and it's showing salinity here. And salinity, if the reddish colors, it's higher, and the bluer colors are fresher. And so you can see that our Canadian brethren and sistren give us plenty of fresh water that come down from the polar regions, from the Gulf of St. Lawrence. And we, I've heard that we send them polluted air, and they send us back acidified water. So we kind of close the loop there. So it's quite fresh, and fresher water is typically easier to acidify. It's also cold here in the Gulf of Maine, and that may come as a surprise with all the press that's gone on about the very dramatic warming that's taken place in the last decades, but it's still relatively cold relative to other coastal regions around the United States. So those two regions, and here's some work that kind of shows you what kind of position that we're in. Here's this omega value here, and it goes from 1 to 4 on this chart. Remember, 1.6 is where I said that shellfish may have a little bit of problem calcifying here. And so this is a cruise that we did from Canada down to Miami last summer. And you can see up in the northeast here where we're catching our scallops and lobsters, this omega is very, very low compared to the rest of the eastern seaboard. And it has to do with the fresher water, and it has to do with the colder temperatures and the water masses that impact our region. Okay, so besides the atmospheric pathway for ocean acidification, as the video mentioned, there are other pathways, and we saw this really nice progression of adding nutrients from your lawns and from industry, and it kind of got out in the ocean, and it stimulated a big phytoplankton bloom. Now, when that bloom starts to rot away, it produces carbon dioxide. So our near coastal areas, where you have intense blooming, we'll also have additions of carbon dioxide there. So this may be something we'll be able to control, is that aspect of ocean acidification, so-called coastal type of acidification. Also, fresh water, particularly in this region, is much more acidic. Here's a map of all the stream water pHs in the USGS database in the United States. You can kind of see the East Coast is kind of a yellowy, bluey, and compared to the rest of the country, which is orange. So this means that the pH of the river water that's coming into the coast is already quite acidic. And on the right there's some work we did in the Kennebec plume several years ago. And you may see this omega number here. This goes from 0 just to 2.5, and you see where the 1.6 would be. So as we go lower and lower in salinity, you can see this omega is very, very low. So fresh water itself is quite acidic. Okay, so I want to give a quick example of sea scallops, a species that's potentially affected by OA and what it's facing. So it's good. I guess a lot of people scalloping this year. I see local scallops for a change in the fish market. That's really nice to see. It's a valuable industry, over $400 million. And so it's got an interesting life cycle. And the thing I want to point out here is that there's a time in the scallop life cycle when these organisms are up on the surface of the water here, about late September, maybe to early December in there. And so when they're up in the water column, they're exposed to acidic conditions here. And they may have a hard time. See, they got to build their shell here in just a couple, 3 weeks. And once they've built their shell, they might settle back down. They may be okay, but it's that shell building period that's critical for a lot of organisms. So here's a time series of omega for the last 9 years or so. So I just plotted everything up here. And you can see this seasonality of omega. Keep in mind the 1.6, that's critical. Kind of goes up in the summertime, down the winter. And I've highlighted this green period here, this October period, when the scallops are up in the water column here. And so then I've zoomed in on all of this data, and you can see each one of these colors is a different year, but it's kind of averages out all the same year after year. And you can see right now that we're going from around 2 or 2.2 in this omega at the beginning of the month towards, down towards that 1.6 at the end of the month. Okay, so these are present conditions. These are the data that we have looked at for the last 9 years or so. And so we're kind of in the slot here, and we're kind of bumping up against the threshold where it may be stressful to the organism. And so we go, and so here's that 1.6 occurring, and you see we rarely get down there. But if we go out into the future, based on the IPCC carbon dioxide increases, we shift this whole thing down. We shift this thing down in your lifetimes too, or maybe not my lifetime, but a lot of your lifetimes here. And so that's an interesting phenomenon. It's happening quite rapidly. So we so much that we don't know. We don't know if these things will adapt. Naturally. Yeah. So there's a lot we don't know, and I won't talk about that. So what's being done? I've also been asked to take a minute to talk about some of the efforts that the State of Maine is working on right now. So we have Mick Deppin in the audience. He's been a very proactive state legislator here, and he put forward this LD 1602 to form an ocean acidification commission. This was nonpartisan, and it included Wayne Perry, a Republican, who was also a fisherman, and Richard Nelson, who's here today, and it was really great to have them on the commission. Also Bill Mook, who's sitting here, and Mark Green, who are in the aquaculture business, and we made this report. It's online now, and it includes recommendations, mitigation aspects, targeted studies, and whatnot. So there's a group here that is taking action. Then there was another bill that was submitted last year to form an OA council, kind of an outgrowth of the commission to keep the ball rolling. And this was recently voted down, ought not to pass by the Marine Resources Committee. And we all know how the DMR and the DEP are very, very stressed, but we're going to keep after them, and when the time's right, we'll form this again. And so now, largely under the leadership of folks at the Island Institute and folks that were on the OA Commission, there's talk now of formation of this Maine Ocean and Coastal Acidification Coalition. And this will have likely participation by the state agencies as well, although at a reduced effort. And then there's also discussions about the Maine Ocean Acidification Bond Bill, and asked Mick about that. But the main purpose of this is to develop a monitoring plan for Maine that incorporates key science principles. Okay, and I guess that's hard to read, but just some concluding remarks. This ocean acidification from atmospheric increases in CO2, it's real. It's not debatable. In some areas it's happening faster than others. This coastal variability from a variety of sources, really puts a lot of organisms, at or in threshold conditions, even now as we speak. And the northwestern Atlantic, where we live, is particularly sensitive to OA, and it could change really, really quickly based on the water mass changes. And we need to know a lot more about how the drivers amplify or dampen OA. And just a shout out to Maine, you guys you're a leader we as a resident too. A real leader in OA research as well as legislation, and we have a really valuable fishery to protect. So.
Thank you. Thanks, Joe. Next up is Dr. Dan Samoset. You just heard Joe alluding to one critter, the scallop, and in a little while Bill Mook will be up and talk a bit about another bivalve, oyster and shellfish probably in general. But Dan from Nova Scotia, St. Xavier, in Nova Scotia, and he's going to show us some work he's doing on the lobster.
Thank you very much for the introduction. So that video at the start was great, and it actually introduced on a couple of aspects which I'm going to talk about later, mainly energy and how much energy animals need to use in order to survive under changing climate. So it was a really good introduction. So I want to start first by talking about what do we know about ocean acidification and Atlantic lobster. I was at home before this conference and I was thinking about this, so I decided to type in a few keywords into Google Scholar. Okay, I typed in to do a title search of all scientific literature which Google could find on ocean, acidification, commerce, Americanus. Okay, so that should bring up most of the papers on. I also tried pH, PCO2, and a lot of other combinations. In the whole of the Google web, I got 4 hits. 4 research papers in the last 10 years or so. Of those 4 hits, 2 of them are the same paper. One of them is an abstract from a conference, and one of them is a master's thesis. So in terms of all of our research efforts in ocean acidification in the last 10 years or so, we really haven't looked at lobsters much at all. So we have 5, there's also a couple more papers which lobsters have been used as one in a range of species looking at calcification. So we have 5 scientific contributions in total from lobster. If we look at our European lobster, and this is what I did my PhD studying on, the effects of European ocean acidification on the European lobster, again, 5 research papers out there, mostly focusing on early larval stages or development stages. I don't think there's been a single study on adult lobsters, for one, or reproduction. Now, if we compare that to some other species of shellfish, so this time the Pacific oyster, Chrysostria gigas, 24 papers in the same time, so a significant number more research effort has been going on these oysters. Now, one of the reasons for this, okay, so what I really wanted to do today was stand up here and give you a really clear take-home message as to how lobsters are going to be affected by ocean acidification in 10, 20, 50 years' time. But we just don't have the research we need to do that for it. Okay, so maybe the take-home message is we don't know much at the moment. Now, one of the reasons that we don't know much about this is because in some of the early studies on ocean acidification in decapod crustaceans, they are found to be relatively tolerant to changes in carbon chemistry. They could buffer it very well. Okay? And our focus seemed to switch more onto the sensitive species, such as your oysters, which showed really quite vast sensitivities to ocean acidification. Couple that with the changes in the fisheries and aquaculture on the west coast that they're experiencing right now in terms of upwelling of corrosive waters, our focus really went onto these sensitive species. And we kind of left these more tolerant species to the side. So I'm going to talk about what makes lobsters tolerant to ocean acidification, potentially. And I'm going to also talk about what that tolerance means in the long run. So, as you increase the amount of carbon dioxide in the seawater, in the video and in Joe's talk, he talked about CO2 in the atmosphere dissolving into the water when the partial pressure increases beyond what's in the water. Okay? The same thing happens in our lobsters. If you increase the partial pressure in the seawater of CO2, that CO2 will dissolve into our lobsters, and they can't really do much about that. Okay? So CO2 will increase inside our lobster, and in the same way it reacts with water in the seawater and decreases the pH, it does the same thing in lobster's blood. So we have increased CO2 and decreased pH. Now, excuse me, lobsters and other crustaceans and all shellfish species really need to keep pH at a constant level in order for them to maintain function, in order for them to go about their daily lives without any hassle. Okay? So lobsters and crustaceans are particularly good at this, especially in comparison to echinoderms or bivalves. They have very good regulatory mechanisms, meaning that they can maintain pH inside despite changes in seawater pH. However, this maintenance of pH costs energy. This is what the video was alluding to, the amount of energy that the lobsters have in order to build shells and to reproduce and grow. So this is where we start seeing some kind of more subtle costs of ocean acidification and more indirect effects on our lobsters. While they may not be dissolving in the ocean, while they may not be dying outright, there will be more subtle changes to what's going on inside the lobster, which may have profound impacts when we talk about populations and fisheries in the future. So in the daily life of our lobster, they fill themselves with oxygen and they fill themselves with food. They use this to create energy in the same way as we do for metabolism and respiration. This energy then gets partitioned between various different aspects of lobster biology, be it reproduction and the production of gonads and egg yolk, etc., be it growth, or be it survival. Now this is just quite a simplistic idea of what's going on here. I've just picked a few key aspects to demonstrate the point. As we expose our lobsters to ocean acidification, the amount of energy they need to spend to survive increases because they need to spend energy in order to keep their pH on the inside at a constant level so they can continue to function. However, the amount of oxygen and food which is available to a lobster is finite. So that energy that's needed for survival needs to come from somewhere. And often it will come from the energy which would be going towards reproduction or growth. So this is where we start to see the more subtle long-term effects, potentially, of ocean acidification on lobsters. But at the moment, this is just an idea and a concept, because nobody's actually looked at lobsters or other decapod crustaceans for long enough to investigate these kind of changes to energy balances. We've started to, and we're starting to build up capacity for that. And in starting to do that, this is a study that I was working on in Plymouth University in the United Kingdom. We looked at this shore crab. It's the velvet swing crab. They're a common shallow subtidal and intertidal crab in the UK, also known as a devil crab because of their bright red eyes. And when we expose them to ocean acidification, the amount of energy they need to maintain their pH, etc., increases. And we know that we can measure how active their gills are and how much energy is being used at the gills in order to pump various ions across and keep their blood chemistry the same. Feeding rates of these animals also decrease. And this is really interesting because this happens to a lot of crustaceans under ocean acidification. They don't consume as much food. That may be because they don't have the energy to go out and get the food. You need to spend energy to get more energy. And if you have less energy available, they're more lethargic. They can't go out and feed as much as what they would do. So you kind of get a downward spiral of decreasing energy here. And that can be shown when you look at the amount of energy stored inside the crustacean. So I'm talking about carbohydrates and sugars, glucose and glycogen, which is stored inside the hepatopancreas or the blood. And when we look at these animals after about a month's exposure to ocean acidification, energy stores decrease under extreme CO2 quite, very baseline levels, almost no energy stores left in these animals at all. Okay? So the amount of energy they have is decreasing because they're not replenishing it through feeding. So there's a mismatch here. And although we haven't done it long enough to look at potential growth and reproduction over a long time, this is where that energy would be going under normal conditions. So potentially we have long-term effects in terms of survival, reproduction, development, etc. So I'm going to shift back to the lobster again quickly. And one really important aspect of lobster biology, and Joe mentioned this when he was talking about the oysters or scallops with their life cycle. Okay, lobsters and other marine vertebrates have quite a complex life cycle. They have multiple pelagic stages of larvae, lasting for about a month, going from eggs to adults. They have a lengthy reclusive benthic juvenile stage, which burrows away into the sediment or hides under rocks. And the European lobster takes up to 7 years to reach reproductive maturity, and I've been told that the American lobster is of a similar age span. They have our reproductively active adults. And we have a relatively, again, lengthy embryonic development from fall 1 year to spring to the next. Between each of these stages, there's really important transitions. They're going from benthic realms to pelagic realms, okay? So they're experiencing very different environments throughout their life cycle. They're having to tolerate very different environmental conditions throughout the life cycle. They're changing in their behavior, their habitat, and their ability to deal with what's going on in their environment. So if we look at the diagram of that life cycle, we can see that our stage 1 larvae, they swim from they hatch out of the eggs carried under the buried hens, and they will swim up the water column to the surface levels, where they will go on to changes in temperature. They're going into a relatively stable conditions in terms of CO2 and oxygen, even though it is starting to change now with acidification and runoff, etc. Where they will spend the first week of their life. They will then molt into a stage 4 larvae, settle on the seabed where they will be juveniles, and they will mostly burrow away into the sediment or hide under rocks. And in these conditions, they're starting to be exposed to more acidic and low oxygen conditions in their burrows, etc. And then our reproductive adults tend to go on large migrations between the inshore and offshore environment during the winter and the summer months, and they start reproducing. Our eggs also are completely dependent on the buried hen for oxygenation and getting rid of CO2, etc. So it's quite a complex life cycle. And it appears, from the research that I've been doing in Plymouth back in the UK on the European lobster, that these stages which transition between these different life history phases are very sensitive to changes in their environment. So our larval stage 1, hatching out from the eggs and making their way up to the surface levels of the ocean, they don't have gills to an extent. They don't have a true heart, okay? And they're what we call conformers. So what happens in the seawater around them is the same as what happens to the inside of the lobster. Okay? If the salinity changes or the CO2 changes, they can't do much about that, so they conform to their environment. This makes them very sensitive to changes in ocean acidification, and we start to see increased instances of mortality. The next transitional stage I want to talk about is the stage 4 larvae, or the megalopa larvae. They're coming from the pelagic realm down to the benthic realm, again going through a big change in their environment. And we're starting to see more development of our lobsters. They're starting to get better at regulating what's going on around them. Okay? So they're starting to get decent carp developed, they're starting to get eels developed, and they're starting to be able to regulate the oxygen, the salinity concentrations, and to some extent the CO2 that's around them. However, this stage in marine invertebrates is really, really key when we talk about whole life history, because there is up to an 80% mortality of settling individuals onto the seabed, and this is any marine invertebrate you can think of. Okay? This is due to the fact that they're going through different environments. If they don't have the amount of energy available to make that transition, they won't make it. They're having to run a gauntlet of predators, so any changes in size or activity rates will be quite detrimental to them being able to survive and compete in this new environment. So if you add on the stresses of ocean acidification and ocean warming, you kind of get this bottleneck in terms of their ability to survive. So when we look at ocean acidification, what we see is the main effect on these stages is changes in their energy budget. So then they can now start to expend energy to regulate changes in pH to some extent. And because of this, we're seeing less energy investment into fecal calcification. So we're seeing slightly lower magnesium levels, because they cannot have the energy to put as much work into as they would do under control levels. They're having changes in protein concentration, possibly because they're using more protein to either buffer from their environment, or they're using more protein as an energy source rather than as a building block to grow. And we're also seeing decreased growth when we look at changes in temperature. So when you combine these two things, we're ending up with slightly smaller animals who are quite sensitive to changes in their environment. And there's subtle changes as well. But these sorts of subtle changes could be quite important when talking about their ability to compete and their ability to succeed in the juvenile phase. The size of settling lobsters is crucial. The smaller you are, the less chance you have to survive, basically. The bigger you are, the more chance you have of fighting off your predators. So these could have quite important changes to populations. So now I'm going to move on to the final stage that I was looking at, and that's juvenile development of these animals. And juvenile development is really interesting, especially the early benthic juveniles. Although they look like adults, they to some extent act like adults, they're not at all anything like that when you look inside the lobster. Okay, so they're still trying to develop, they're still trying to change from larvae to adults, they're still changing their blood protein complex, they're still developing their abilities to regulate what's going on in the environment, so they still don't have that adult type of regulation when it comes to dealing with their environment. And they also have incredibly high energy demands, possibly because they're putting so much investment into growth. I mean, I'm sure you guys have all seen the difference in size between a newly settled juvenile lobster and one that's about a year old. They can really grow quickly. And so they have a high energy demand. And because of this, we start to see higher mortalities when we expose them to ocean acidification. And the really interesting about this high mortality is that it is completely due to mold death syndrome. Okay, so in controlled conditions, I didn't have a single death in my experiments. When exposed to ocean acidification, we had every single mortality was due to mold death syndrome. So I'm sure some of you have seen this in your traps or in your lobster pounds. They cannot shed their exoskeleton completely. Now this is a symptom which is due to changes in the amount of energy they have. If they don't have the energy to complete the molt, then they won't be able to do it. It's like holding your breath when you go underwater. Their gills don't have access to the water. They cannot breathe very efficiently during this phase, so they have to hold their breath, shed their skin, and then start to regrow again. And if they don't have the energy to do that, then they won't make it. It could also be due to changes in calcium regulation inside the animal. So I also had back here, we see changes in energy demand, and we see an inability of these animals to regulate their internal pH when you increase the temperature. So ocean acidification isn't always going to act alone. Elevated temperature is something which we haven't really spoken about much, but that can interact with ocean acidification, especially when we talk about energy budgets. So what we found is that at high temperature, they cannot regulate their internal pH. However, at controlled temperatures, when they're exposed to ocean acidification, they do a pretty good job at surviving. They do a pretty good job at regulating the amount of the pH changes inside them. So So what does this mean for our Atlantic lobster? Well, again, we don't really know much about Atlantic lobster. I've spoken about a couple of crabs, I've spoken about our European lobsters, but we really need a lot more research into what's going on with our Atlantic lobster to really start to nail this. There are potential changes in energy investment, and this is a really important aspect of what may happen to these lobsters in the future. Increased energy to regulate is going to mean that they have less energy available for growth and reproduction, as I mentioned. And this is going to have possibly the most impact on our populations, because it's going to have impacts on reproduction. We know when we expose sea urchins, for example, to ocean acidification for a very long period of time, the amount of energy they put into their reproduction decreases dramatically. They have much smaller gonads, and obviously the size of the gonad is completely proportional to the amount of offspring you can produce. So because they're having to deal with changes in the environment, they're not putting as much energy into developing their gonads, which is also the tasting part, so I'm told. And that is what's potentially going to happen with our lobsters. Also, we know that we have really key life history transition stages which are very sensitive. We really need more research about this on all marine invertebrates to figure out exactly why these key life history stages are so sensitive, and what impacts this has for the whole life cycle of the animal and our populations and fisheries. We also need to really consider the sublethal impacts, the changes in our mineralization, the changes in our protein contents, because they're going to change the way the lobster can interact with its environment. If it's less mineralized, it could be more open to shell disease, or it could be more open to predation or interspecific competition. If we see changes in our protein concentration, is that going to change the taste? There has been a study where they did a blind taste test on, I think it was either shrimp or prawns in Sweden, I think. Prawns is exposed to ocean acidification, those not. Do they taste any different? And they do, apparently. I don't know what the taste is, whether it's better or worse, but apparently they do change the taste. So this could all end up with changes. We might not be seeing massive die-off of lobsters, we might not be seeing complete collapse of fisheries, for example, but we may be seeing changes in our marketability of these animals, and what animals we actually send to market. So that's something that we really need to also consider. And that's something that we need feedback from fishermen as we go on from here, in terms of, are you seeing any changes in the lobsters you're catching? Are there any changes in mineralization or protein concentrations or any of these aspects, which could be indicators that there is something more serious going on in terms of the effects of ocean acidification? So where do we go from here? Well, obviously increase the key aspects of research. Being a lobster researcher, I'm going to say that. We need to do it. And we also need to start figuring out the fact that not every environment is the same. Now this is really, really important. We've seen the maps that Joe was showing us and all these different water bodies moving around, and different areas are going to be more impacted by ocean acidification than others. We're going to need to try and figure out exactly what that means in terms of our populations and our fisheries. Is one area going to be more sensitive? Is one area going to be less sensitive? This doesn't just go to the environmental conditions, but the lobster populations themselves. No two populations